In this chapter, we'll be talking about loops in Python. So what loops are basically blocks of code that are executed a number of times. So far, we'll be talking about for loops and while loops. And in the end, we'll be talking about break and continue statements. First, let's define what we're going to be seeing in for loops called range, the range function. What this is basically it defines sort of range of a loop to iterate through. So our prototype of range looks like this. Range, start, stop, and step. So start and stop are basically the actual range itself. And remember, it's inclusive. So if we had range 1 to 5, it's going to include 1 and go all the way to 4, which I'll demonstrate later on. The step is the amount of increments to take in each iteration. So, for example, if we have 1 to 5 and the step is 2, it'll go from 1, 3, and then it will stop because 4 doesn't reach that number in 2 steps. Or let's do actually a better one. Let's say 0 to 4. With iteration of 2, it'll go 0, 2, and then eventually 4. So let's actually demonstrate how this works. So you'll see it better in iteration, in actual illustration. So as you can see in Sublime Text, it actually did it for me by autofilling. Let's say this is I, and we'll just erase all this garbage. How about we do range from 1 to 10, and then we're going to print I. Don't forget your colon after the for loop statement. This is what it looks like basically. So we have for any letter variable. I like to use I, like in most programming languages, we use I. Use the in keyword, and then here's our range function, and then here's our actual range of numbers. Alright, so let's print I. We'll build this, and as you can see below, let me just go up. You can see here 1, 2, all the way to 9. And as you can see, it is inclusive, so it includes 1, but it finished at n-1. So we can say the range is from the beginning to n-1, as you can see here. So our stopping point was 10, but here we actually see it's 9, so that's n-1. So let's add a step to this. Let's say 2. It's going to increment in numbers of 2. So let's build that. And as you can see, it goes 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 in increments of 2. And so that's basically it for that. And let's just do another example with other numbers. Let's say 0 to 12 with increments of 3. Just so you just get the point of this to get the gist of this whole, how for loops. So as you can see, in increments of 3, went 0, 3, 6, 9. And since, remember, it's inclusive, so the final number is not included itself because that's how these work. Now, if we did, for example, 13 here, you would get 12. So in for loops, with a range, keep in mind that if you actually want this final stop number, be sure to do one number above it, as you see in other programming languages. Like traditionally we use int I, for example, whatever, and then it's, for example, up to 10. That's like this, basically what we did. This is equivalent to this. Let's say step 1. You don't actually have to include the 1. This default is 1. And then we just have I++. This is basically how it's done in other programming languages, and this is how it's done in Python. So what I wrote down here is basically this up here. And if you want this should be 10. If you want actually to go up to 10, you do this. And I forgot the 0 here. This is just illustrating how it all works. You do less than or equal to 10. And so you have, this is basically this. And that pretty much concludes our tutorial on for loops. Please tune in next time.